It's not an accident, and there's a from judiciary, which basically throws your case out as soon as you go there. So don't waste your money going to judicial review, because you'll get no one. This one case has a member of the public won against the Ombudsman at judicial review.
Not me!
Not you. Three. Any more? Higher? Lower? It's probably lower. And the answer is, Robert,
I just sent it to
one. One time.
Hello.
And that was obviously a mistake.
Yeah.
And the police don't help
Statistical error.
No.
Are you saying we're better off waiting?
Well,
I'm making it up like the government.
in 2011 to 2012, they actually made a mistake. 0.4. Prize to the man in the small jacket.
That's my mother.
0.4% of the time they have got it wrong. Oh my goodness. Dame Julie's not happy with this figure. She wants it reduced. Well, if you realise that all the reviews are internally handled by the Ombudsman, so they just pass it up a desk, then I'm sure that they can get this figure down. Fantastic! Who got a favourable outcome? Okay.
And if you go for a data subject access request and see their internal emails, you'll see that they're only bothered about if you're going to go to the press and report holders.
Yes. Well, let's all go to the press. So, it's corrupt by in favour of a tiny little breach. Yeah, it's not the big stuff. They never go for the big stuff. They'll say, yeah, they didn't keep the schedule, we'll give you 20 quid.
Don't you think you're better off with a campaign of civil disobedience like Fridays for Justice
Yes,
to get the attention?
that's what the direct action is required.
Direct
I'm not sure.
Yeah? Well, I'm all for peaceful, because I don't want to get my ears
No, I didn't say violence.
Really?
Civil disobedience doesn't necessarily mean violence.
Oh, come on then, this is the bit where you
Just an idea.
We're calling it Empowerment Mondays, and it was amazing to see the police stood there, unable to do or disempowered, whilst the people brought the traffic to a standstill. Now, when I was arranging it, Scotland Yard chose to ignore me when I tried to, but just one day after the event, they called me to come in and have a chat about facilitating the lawful use of the zebra crossing. And we're going to be out there every Monday, as I said, starting from last week, until they start to listen. Direct action, you're quite right, is but I don't think we have the power sufficiently to conduct an effective boycott. Now, this is another form.
We're ultimately people.
Exactly. But if this number here was doing that, was outside the High Court in the Strand, and doing that, they have to listen.
So what happened with your campaign?
Well, it's still ongoing, and they told me, New Scotland Yard told me that TfL got in touch with me, and just from that tiny action, the disruption caused had an impact on 50 bus routes. 50 bus routes. Now, if what we literally are sitting on right now is an opportunity for a bloodless revolution. We're using the letter of the law. And that's why, as a result of everything that's happened over the years, and because of what they have done, because of the injustice upon top of injustice that they have created, they've literally pushed me outside the protection of the law. And it's acknowledged that one person outside the protection of the law is all persons outside the protection of the law. We are entitled to become a law unto ourselves. And in fact, a former Attorney General, Lord Goldsmith, before he became Attorney General, he quoted a former US Supreme Judge, and he said this: in a government of laws, existence of the government will be imperiled if it fails to observe the laws scrupulously. Yes. Government is the omnipresent teacher, for good or ill, teaches the whole people by its example. If the government becomes a lawbreaker, it breeds contempt for the law. It invites every man to become a law unto himself. Look, we have the right, according to law, to rebel, if you like. Yes, we have probably quite reputably known amongst people who are struggling for justice. They told the hospital had given me false information about my son. I employed Byman and Partners to investigate a case of misinformation and so on and so on. Byman and Partners told me there's no law in this country that allows anyone to sue for false advice. The reason why well, indeed, but sorry, you're pretty sure. Well, I have their advice. I have their advice in writing. What happened? I wasn't at the hospital. I'm answering your question. I wasn't at the hospital when my son died. Now, however, 1 hour before my son died, I walked into the hospital looking for my family, and I was told, Mr. Grant, your son's not here. He only had a tummy upset. He's not been admitted. Now, so eventually I left the hospital, went home. I received a phone call from my brother-in-law. They've got media, sir. Yeah. Justice for children. Justice for children. Central London. You can bring it to a standstill, and then they have to listen. That's the problem. The problem now is that no one is listening.
And Paul lost his baby son 19 years ago. He lost his baby son 19 years ago, and he's not had any justice.
No, they left my son to die from a baby, a 15-month-old baby, to die from dehydration in hospital casualty, and they've been hell-bent on covering up the circumstances ever since. And one of the things that they engage in, I don't mean to take over one of the things that they engaged in order to deny me the answers surrounding my son's death, is a judge presided over a matter which was being prosecuted by his brother, and that judge conducted those proceedings behind my back without any legal representation, and at the end of it he issued a warrant for me to be picked up off the street and brought to prison without charge, without trial. I spent 10 weeks in Pentonville prison before the prison authorities realised I should not have been there. They presented me in court, and then I was released by another judge who said, Mr. Grant, the background of your case is extremely tragic. Go home to your family. Now, that's just a snippet of what... Speak to that person later, but
he would only fix one hand properly. I wouldn't be going to Odstock. I came round from the operation late at night with convulsions in my upper body. A doctor was sent for, but no one came. I had a serious untreated brain injury causing swelling and fluid in my brain, which could cause a syrinx disorder. A syrinx hole in your spinal cord which will go up to your brain and kill you. Whiplash could cause syrinx, and I just had one almighty whiplash. But still the NHS cover-up swung into action. I had a broken and dislocated back, broken back and tailbone, deviated septum with brain fluid leaking through my nose, which was quite funny actually, just boring. A severe brain injury, central apnea to cause my breathing to stop. All these are ignoring a government ban. Hospitals have deals with insurance companies to minimise injury claims in return for cheaper insurance. I'm in a wheelchair because of NHS cover-up, not because of my accident. Why am I here today? To warn you, syrinx is caused by whiplash. I was hit by a drunk driver who drove straight through me and my motorbike at 100 miles per hour without stopping. Taken to Poole Hospital to be transferred to Odstock. My injuries were too severe to be dealt with. No MRI, CT scans, 4 x-rays were taken of my brain or spine, despite not being able to move my legs, loss of memory and losing consciousness. This was a violent 100 miles per hour crash, and I was only given a few x-rays.
I've begged and begged and begged. I've worked and worked and worked because I knew my father wasn't dead when I got there. I've been told pack a lie. She was even showing me disgusting photographs. The hour before he died in front of me. The last thing you have is hearing she was showing disgusting photographs of men in bed with young girls. The sister told the police that came out that were there when he died, they wouldn't go in and get them. Why? We left the house and I was in a new car. She got some other police to come to the pub where we were waiting for her son only a mile away, and they came and wouldn't let me leave the car park and sat and had a cup of tea to discuss everything, and that shocked me dad had died. I was so upset. My sister insisted I sit and have a cup of tea, and these 2 police officers came in front of me and asked me if I was anything to do with Ralph and we've had a call out to say that you're going to the house to cause an afraid. I said, we've just left that house. I wouldn't want to ever go back to it just like that. I said, you've just been through the car park and gone up that way. There's 2 of your officers there, isn't there? He said, yes. And I said, well, why have you come back then? He says, we were told to be in a different car, different vehicle. I just changed the vehicle. So she gave me information. There's a lot of money walked here. My father was worth $1 million. And tell me how a consultant can tell me that my father had not got esophageal cancer, yet somebody's phoned his own GP and told him he has on the very same day. I've got the evidence.
Notes. She didn't document that the the senior registrar, she did not document that. So, again, what Daniel had actually said to her is not in file. I tried to get various people to do an open. And I am still going through the complaints procedure. I have had 5.
He was going to see the relevant specialist, which is a vertigo specialist. I even said the hospital. I was told by a GP that he should, a retired GP years ago, just a fluke. He said, well, you know where he should go. He should have been referred to the hospital for nervous diseases. I kept saying, surely there must be a vertigo specialist. There must be doctors in this country who specialise in vertigo. Now this was only, I was only saying this, 2 years ago, really. Because that was when probably the doctor, the GP, when I phoned the health helpline, came back and said, well, he should see a vertigo specialist. We came here, at last, I thought, after all these years, I mean, that's who he should have been referred to, just directly to a vertigo specialist.
But this
we
is not
thought
the issue.
you would refer him to the vertigo specialist. I had a shock when I discovered it was an eye doctor who wasn't as good as the opticians at Pets Wood.
Okay,
Or the hearing aid. He should never have seen this doctor. He's a peripheral doctor. His main complaint, the fundamental complaint, is vertigo. That's why I haven't had any sleep for 8 years. That's why I'm very ill. And that's why I can't get back to work, and that's why my body's going.
Stop it now, please. It's enough. You have shouted now enough.
I haven't shouted.
I will refer you to...
I mean, I was listening to a conversation between one of our senior physicians, so, you know, consultant practices in internal medicine, and a surgeon, a bit of an argument going on. And what the physician was saying is 60% of my patients that come into this hospital never leave with a confirmed diagnosis. Consciously. Whereas having come from inside the health service, knowing the number of complete cock-ups with PIC on a regular basis, I could quite believe they were lost. Now,